I really can't think of a better selling point than a roguelike Dark Souls. It's like someone took Gauntlet and shoved it into Lordran and said, "Mwah." Heretical is so incredibly polished, even for an early access title. I was shocked going into this game, because I was under the impression that there wouldn't be enough here to warrant my money. But I was delighted to be incorrect. It's rare these days that a $10 game doesn't feel like a scratch-off lottery ticket. At the time of writing this, I have about 30 hours in on my $10 purchase, already cementing the value this game can provide. On top of the value, the game itself is amazing. Overall progression is tied to challenges called prophecies, where once you complete a few, a couple more open up. The rewards can range from new perk trees, extra ability slots, new characters, just to name a few. The roster of characters was way bigger than I expected also. I have 8 out of the 9 playable characters unlocked. Each one has a different starting ability and stats. But stats don't really play much of a role in your character's journey until you have found some skill points to put into the skill trees. My favorite is the Archer though. It's such a solid class, and you unlock it very early on. Each character has an unmarked quest associated with them, which have to be finished over multiple runs. Some involve finding an item and presenting it to a certain NPC, and others you just need to talk to this person in multiple locations. Similar to Dark Souls, you know the classic, I hope you like being confused quest design. When you start a run for your very first time, you'll be slapped into a graveyard tutorial area. As you wind your way around this mountain, you'll run into your first skill check, a mini-boss. If you haven't figured out the game's controls by this point, you will not be progressing. After learning his attack patterns, he becomes a trivial matter, allowing you to make your way up to the vendor and the prophet. After you have completely wiped out this area a couple of times, you will start new runs at this point, with all of the XP that you would have gained from killing those enemies, and the items they would have dropped. Once you have finished shopping, it's time to cross the bridge. This is where your runs start, and if you haven't learned enough yet, end. The bridge is basically a TSA checkpoint, but for violence. I don't want to spoil too much, because finding all of the secrets and talking to the NPCs felt like my first time playing through Dark Souls, and I don't want to take that magic away from you. But the rewarding sense of progression that comes with finding a skill point or killing your first real boss is unmatched. Let's talk about gameplay. Now, I played all my runs with either a controller or on my Steam Deck. It just felt so intuitive and fun, except for the lock-on system. This is something that I hope gets ironed out eventually, considering it is early access. This is my single issue with the entire game. That's a tiny issue for such an incredible experience. Melee combat can be very punishing, until you get some skills to help keep you alive. Things that give you a barrier shield, or restore health, are almost mandatory. Melee weapons each have their own attack patterns too. My favorite was the one-handed mace, where you smash the ground and create an AoE around you. It feels like bonking the earth itself for being disrespectful. I didn't understand how shields worked until I turned on the setting that showed my character's HP and endurance above their head. When your endurance breaks, you can't hold up your shield until it recharges. Basically, stamina go bye-bye, you go bye-bye. Ranged combat, like wands, stabs, and bows, were a much more enjoyable experience early on. Being able to aggro single enemies and deal with them one-on-one helped me learn each enemy type's moveset, but ranged combat didn't feel overpowered until I picked up the multi-shot skill. This is unlocked from one of the later prophecies, and is an instant first pick, letting each projectile bounce to an additional target with slightly reduced damage. It turns you into a medieval laser light show, and I love it. In the game world, there are some puzzles that must be completed by specific characters. Not to spoil anything, but an NPC who helps you kill one of the early game bosses is used to unlock a few shortcuts. This is all I will say on the matter, as I don't want to spoil too much. Keeping a close eye on the environment is mandatory if you want to find all of the secret characters and unlockable unique weapons. After you progress far enough, you will find some passageways or levers that permanently open up the shortcuts. Though I feel like skipping enemies isn't the best idea, since not taking out every enemy on the map means you're taking a massive XP cut, unless you have an insanely strong build early on. You heard me say early access earlier, and I'm sure that scared you, but don't be frightened. With what content is out now, already equals a full game. So look at it this way. With each update, you're essentially getting free DLC. Unfortunately, this is now a solo project, so make sure you support the developer and let them know how much you enjoyed the game. And if you're a Saudi Arabian oil prince, how about lending some funding to the team? Seriously, my brother in Allah, blink twice if you're watching. Heretical is such a fantastic blueprint for a phenomenal game. The combat reminded me of the old Gauntlet PS2 game. The world building and lore is dark and juicy, with tons of references to Berserk. My inner child is frantically raving about this game to all of my friends. My adult self too, but with worse posture. Hopefully we will see a multiplayer update soon, but that might be a lot to ask for. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. The channel is going to be getting a facelift here soon, so stay tuned for that. Please share this video and subscribe, since 99% of you aren't. If you don't want to subscribe, tell me a cool game I should check out at least. Have a happy new year. Let's make this one count.